Chanukah of the princes, the sacrifices brought by the princes of the tribes for the dedication of the Mishkan. Chanukah, chinuch means to dedicate. So they dedicated the Mishkan, and Chanukah, they rededicated the temple after the Greeks ransacked it. So therefore, this is why we read the inauguration of the Mishkan during the Chanukah. But you hear the Torah reading, it's weird because it's the same sacrifice over and over and over again. Instead of saying one time what they gave, say one time what they gave, and say each one gave the same thing. No, it says every one, a different name, but the same sacrifice. And then you spell out the whole sacrifice again and again and again. It takes up columns in the Torah, repeating the same thing. Yes. Just say, one tribe leader gave this, and so too did the others. Why you have to say it, repeat the whole thing again and again? So, this is even more puzzling because we know that there's not an extra word in the Torah. Rabbi Kiva alav shalom used to learn halachot from even an extra crown in the letters. He used to learn halachot from. So therefore, you see, there must be for not for no reason the Torah repeated this and again. So what's the secret? So the world in general, when they give honor to something, they give honor the first person to do something and considers the others, the who follow, as like not so special. But Hashem values even the people who follow. He values them very much as well. As long as you're doing the mitzvah, Hashem values every single one. To teach you, it's not about the one who does first, oh, so he's special, everybody else is nothing. No, even the people who follow suit, one inspires the other. The second one, even though he does the same thing, he's also just as special as the first one. Because Hashem wants not the pizzazz. He doesn't need the glam and glitter. He needs Rahmana libabaye. Hashem wants our heart, our kavanah. So he says the mashal. He says, for example, father asks his daughter for a glass of tea. So she quickly runs, puts the kettle on the fire, makes the tea exactly how the father likes it, and she gives it to him with two hands, with a lot of kavod. And what? She gives her father nahad ruach. She gives her father, joy and pride in this that he raised her. But what happens? And if she makes it like hapshlap. She makes it like, lishba. She goes and she doesn't make it nice. She spills it. She doesn't make it on time. What happens? So he might have regretted even asking, why'd I ask you, bichlal? So therefore, sometimes a person has to know that the main thing is, the person thinks that, the main thing is I did the mitzvah. So I did the mitzvah. Yalla, I came, I showed up, I did it. The person has to realize that Hashem wants our kavanah. He wants our intention. He wants the good feeling. He wants the connection with us. And that goes with our motivation and our attitude while we do the mitzvah. With Arizal says that the highest part of your neshama, which is the yehidah, how do you access and feed it from the mitzvah? He says nefesh gets fed from the act, right? Ruach gets fed from the blessing. Neshama gets fed from the kavanah behind the mitzvah. Haya gets fed from the deeper kavanah in the mitzvah. Yehidah gets fed from the attitude that you get the mitzvah. So that's the Arizal writes in Shar Kavanot, the Shavuot. He says that the highest part of my soul, Yehidah, I accessed because I did the mitzvot with joy. I did the mitzvot with the right attitude, and that's why I unlocked the highest part of my soul. So therefore, he says that a person, or Nissim again writes that a person has to do the mitzvot with kavanah. And that's what we learn from rereading the princes every day of the Chanukah, that Hashem valued each one of their mitzvot, even though it was the same, because they had kavanah inside their mitzvah, because they did it with good intention. That gave nahat ruach, just like the first prince, every single prince they gave. There's a story of the Rosh Yeshiva of Volozhin, the mother of all yeshivot, Reb Chaim Volozhiner, alav shalom. He would go every year and send a messenger to generous Jews to give them the opportunity to give donations to the yeshiva. So one year, the yeshiva bought a horse and a wagon in order to use for the messenger to go to these donors and ask them if they want to give tzedakah. So one of the stops was a house of a nearby farmer who always gave a big donation, and this time the farmer gave very little. Reb Chaim sent for the farmer, and he called him to the yeshiva, and he said, what happened? Well, usually you gave so much, so everything's okay, you need help, what happened? The farmer says, I give donations for Torah study. I don't give donations for a horse and a wagon. I see you guys have money now to buy a horse and a wagon for the messenger. I want money for Torah study, not for a horse and a wagon. Reb Chaim opened the Chumash, and he read to him how Hashem filled Bezalel, the architect of the Mishkan. He filled him with divine spirit, and he was able to build the Mishkan. So the Reb Chaim asked the farmer, why did Hashem need to give him divine spirit? We would think he just needs craftsmanship. Why does he need divine spirit for? Ruach HaKodesh for? Just give him, he should have skills to make it nice. So Reb Chaim said that Bezalel, he didn't just need to have craftsmanship to take the materials and build the Mishkan. He needed to know the kavanah of every single person who gave. And to this, you need Ruach HaKodesh. And therefore, he took only if the donor was L'Shem Shamayim. Then he took. But a person who wasn't L'Shem Shamayim doesn't necessarily mean he didn't take him. If it was to obtain honor, so he made it for the chitzoniot, he made it for the walls of the Mishkan. But to make the altar, to make the menorah, to make the Kodesh, he would only use people's donations that were L'Shem Shamayim. So he said, Reb Chaim said, our yeshiva is the same. If your intention is to obtain honor, so the donation goes to the horse and the wagon. But if you have donation L'Shem Shamayim, don't worry, your kavanah is going to make it that your donation goes for the sake of the Torah. So you see that all goes based on the kavanah. So therefore, we have to think about how can we have more kavanah in our mitzvot during this time of Chanukah. The Greeks all thought about egoism, about everything's for me, build myself. And the Torah tells us sometimes we forget about Hashem in the mitzvah. The Rav Nachman Breslev says sometimes a person is so meticulous to do the halachot properly, he even forgets that he's doing a mitzvah. He forgets, I want the sukkah to be perfect, I want the tefillin to be perfect, I want everything to be perfect, I want to make sure the right book, and I'm focusing on this. He's learning. You can have boys in yeshiva learning, and they forget they're studying Hashem's Torah. So a person has to make sure to always plug in, my kavanah is L'Shem Shamayim, for the sake of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Even your L'Shem Shamayim has to be